I came home early from my girls' trip to surprise my husband and overheard him on the phone. Marriage is a complete nightmare, bro. I wake up every day regretting my decision. If it wasn't for her family's money, I'd be gone already. We had just celebrated our 3-year anniversary. I stood there frozen, my heart pounding in my ears. I don't know how I managed it, but I quietly left, got back in my car, and drove off. 5 days later, he called me 27 times in 1 hour. That's when he knew I had heard him. That's when he knew what I did. And now? I don't even know where to begin. My hands are literally shaking as I type this out on my phone. I've deleted and rewritten this post like 7 times already. Everyone's asleep in the house, and I'm just sitting here in the bathroom with the shower running so Connor doesn't hear me crying. Connor and I have been married for 3 years. He always seemed so genuine, different from the men I usually met through my family's social circles. My family has money, not crazy rich, but comfortable enough that I've never had to worry about bills. Connor comes from a middle-class background. Last weekend, we renewed our vows in a small ceremony with just our closest friends and family. He cried while reading his vows to me. Cried. Told me I was the best thing that ever happened to him. Anyway, I was on a girls' trip to Nashville with my 3 best friends from college. We'd been planning it for months. Spa days, wine tours, checking out that new rooftop bar everyone's been posting about on TikTok. But on the second day, Scarlett got food poisoning from this sketchy hot chicken place, and Tina had some emergency she had to handle remotely. The trip was falling apart, so we decided to cut it short. And I thought, perfect. I'll surprise Connor. He's always saying how much he misses me when I'm gone, always texting me those wish-you-were-here selfies from our couch with his sad puppy eyes. So I took an early flight back, picked up his favorite nachos from this hole-in-the-wall place near our house, and grabbed some craft beer he's been obsessed with lately. I was so excited to surprise him. I had this whole image in my head of his face lighting up when he saw me. I came in through the garage using my code so I wouldn't make any noise. Our house has this weird layout where you can't see the living room from the entryway. I heard him talking upstairs in his gaming room, obviously on the phone since I didn't hear anyone else. So I set the food down in the kitchen and quietly headed up the stairs, thinking I'd surprise him mid-call. And then I heard it. Marriage is a complete nightmare, bro. I wake up every day regretting my decision. I froze on the stairs. My heart stopped. I thought maybe he was joking around with a friend, so I waited for the laugh. But there was no laugh. If it wasn't for her family's money, I'd be gone already. The only good thing about this whole situation is that I don't have to worry about rent or bills anymore. I could feel my heart cracking in half. The vow renewal thing last weekend? Pure torture, man. Had to stand there making up all this romantic bullshit while her family looked on all misty-eyed. I've gotten good at the performance, though. Oscar-worthy. And then he laughed. But hey, small price to pay for the lifestyle, right? Her dad's talking about bringing me into the family business next year. Once I'm established there, I'll have options. More options than just being the money wife's husband. The money wife. That's what he calls me behind my back. 3 years of marriage, and I'm just the money wife to him. I don't know how I did it, but I silently went back downstairs, grabbed the food and beer, and slipped out. I sat in my car in the parking lot for almost 2 hours, just sobbing. Mascara everywhere. At one point, an older woman knocked on my window to ask if I was okay. I told her my dog died. The first lie of many I would tell that day. I returned the food, told them my husband wasn't feeling well, and texted the girls that I was going to a hotel near the airport to catch up on emails before heading back to Nashville. I drove around for hours trying to figure out what to do. Every memory of our relationship replayed in my head with this new horrible filter. All those times he insisted on paying for dinner, but only when it was somewhere cheap. How reluctant he was to let me help with his student loans until I practically forced him. How he always had big dreams, but never quite enough motivation to pursue them, until my dad offered him connections. Our anniversary gift from his parents was this engraved wooden sign for our entryway that says, "Where your story begins." I literally stared at it that morning while drinking coffee, thinking our story was just beginning its next chapter. Turns out, our story was actually just a financial transaction. I decided to go back to Nashville. I spent the next 3 days pretending everything was fine with my girlfriends, even though I was dying inside. Probably drank way too much wine every night. Then I came home at my originally scheduled time and greeted him with a kiss. I looked into the eyes of the man who called our marriage a nightmare and kissed him hello like nothing was wrong. I've been living this lie for 5 days now. 5 days of sleeping next to someone who apparently regrets waking up next to me every morning. 5 days of analyzing every interaction we've ever had, wondering what was real and what was part of his Oscar-worthy performance. And now I've started digging, checking our accounts. Connor has been making weird withdrawals. Nothing huge, but $200 here, $300 there. Always just under the amount we agreed would need a conversation. Where is that money going? Has he been saving up for his escape plan? Does he have someone else? Oh God, does he have someone else? Is there another woman who knows I'm just the money wife? Do they laugh about me together? I haven't told anyone. Not my friends. Not my family. Especially not my family. My dad adores Connor, always talking about how he's the son he never had. It would crush him to know Connor only sees him as a meal ticket. But I've started making subtle changes. Yesterday, I accidentally left a browser tab open with my separate bank account information, the one Connor doesn't have access to. This morning, I casually mentioned that my dad is reconsidering some of his business ventures due to the economy. I've been working late, being just a little less affectionate, taking more calls in private. The bathroom sink has been leaking for weeks, and Connor kept saying he'd fix it this weekend. Last night, I just called a plumber without telling him. When the guy showed up, Connor looked so confused. I just shrugged and said, "You seem busy with other things." The plumber charged us $85 for a 10-minute fix, and I could see Connor mentally calculating that money being wasted, and my plan is working. Connor is nervous. This afternoon, while I was out running errands, he called me 27 times in 1 hour. 27. When I finally called back, he was frantic, asking if everything was okay, if I was mad at him, if something had happened with my family. I played it cool, said my phone was in my purse while I was at Target. Why would you think otherwise? The silence on his end was deafening. So now I'm here, locked in the bathroom with the shower running, trying to figure out my next move. I know I need to confront him, but I also need to be smart about this. He spent 3 years lying to my face. Maybe I can manage a few weeks of the same.